past 4 years, I've chosen to follow counsel and guidance that has led me into a dark delusion. I was led to believe that this world was an evil place and children who need abused.
No freaking way. Yes, we are finally talking about Ruby Franke's sentencing. So let's talk about it. Hey everybody, I'm Elise Bradley. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for those that are returning, and thank you for anybody new that is watching. I am satisfied with the sentencing. I think it shows that you can't just do something to your children without consequences brought upon you. I think it teaches us a lot about social media, that a lot of things played into this as well. People being able to watch her as a parent and also learning about all the things that her children had to endure. That was honestly like boot camp on steroids. But before we get into it, I forgot to tell you guys to do all the things, If you liking this content, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And don't forget to follow me on my other social media platforms. All right, that's it. So we're going to dive in to talk about the sentencing that occurred on Tuesday, February 20th for Ruby Franke. If you do not know who Ruby Franke is, she was a very highly popular YouTuber. She had a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. She had millions and millions of subscribers. She talked about her parenting style and provided advice to parents all across the world. Yes, I am thankful that I did not go with her parenting styles. I didn't even really ever listen to her advice. I wasn't a parent at the time, so it wasn't really important to me. And it's sad to say I had no idea who she was until this happened. But some people knew exactly who she was. Anyways, she unfortunately got herself into a sticky situation. She and another lady called Judy Hildebrandt took their parenting styles a little too far. Like I said earlier, it was basically a concentration camp is how they referred to it in the courts. But she is being charged with aggravated child abuse because of what she put her 2 youngest children through last year over the summer. If one of her children that is going to be turning 12, if that boy had not made it next door to a neighbor's house, who knows how far this parenting style would have been taken. Who knows how long the abuse would have continued, and who knows if these children would have made it out alive. But luckily, her young boy, who is turning 12 this year, made it to the neighbor's house in time to prevent any more torture physically or emotionally to him and his youngest sister. The older children did not endure, I believe, this much physical and emotional abuse, but when you look back at her YouTube videos, they did endure some physical and emotional abuse, just maybe not to the extent of what these 2 went through. Basically, she started listening into the indoctrination of Judy Hildebrandt and started following her guidelines on how to raise children. And honestly, it was child abuse. She believed that her children were basically evil and that everything she was doing was helping them to become unevil. I mean, she literally kicked her son with steel-cut boots. So I have no idea how she managed to indoctrinate these types of beliefs and believe them to be the right thing that she was doing for her children, but she did. And fortunately, she was brought into custody. Fortunately, her son escaped and got him and his sister out of that situation. And that is what we're talking about today. And we're going to talk about what happened Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, We're going to talk about what the state said. We're going to talk about what her lawyer said. And we're actually going to talk about Ruby Franke's statement herself. So I think the punishment definitely fits the crime. And if anyone doesn't agree with me, well, this is what I think. Now, she may get out earlier. That's always a possibility on good behavior. But I think that the judge and the state made the best decision based on the evidence that they were given. So Ruby Franke definitely walked into the courtroom, and she walked in with a very poised demeanor. I think that she was fully and mentally prepared for what was about to happen to her. It looked like she knew exactly what was coming. She had already agreed to this plea agreement. I think she knew the sentencing that she was about to receive because she was so well put together and she wasn't emotional. I mean, I think I would have been like bawling my eyes out. So we first start out with the state, talking about the sentencing, what the plea agreement was, and why they think that Ruby Franke deserves what she is receiving. Judge Walton is the one that is going to be presenting the sentencing. Before we jump into that, the judge, there is some restitution that they are still trying to work out. Even though the judge brought that up, they have not, I guess, discussed the terms of that. So Ruby Franke's lawyer said that we have up to 8 months to decide what type of restitution that the family will receive based on what Ruby put the children through. So the state's position was to charge Ruby Franke with a consecutive sentencing to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse, followed by post-completion of her sentencing and parole. The state wants everybody in the courtroom, including the judge, to hear why they think that she deserves this. And they want to go into detail about it, which as they should, right? He explains in detail why he believes that she should go with the plea agreement, the parole, and the completion of her sentencing. So they say this is why she deserves this sentence and this imprisonment. They said it was like a concentration camp. And I feel like that's a little aggressive because we all know what we've read and heard about concentration camps. I mean, who knows if it would have led to that? So we're reminded of being denied food, water, beds, entertainment, which I think kids are entertained entirely too much right now. But I digress, and I'm going to be quiet. Being hidden away from public and anybody visiting the home. Forced to do physical tasks like holding big items up and downstairs for hours and hours upon time. A day, hours and hours upon time. Being outside, doing the same thing, carrying items back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in the hot Arizona heat with no socks or shoes on. So that's why their feet had welts on them, because they were severely burned. And we're reminded of the fact that they did wall sits for hours. Being beaten, we're reminded that they were beaten. 12-year-old was bound. And that these kids were basically extensively put through emotional and physical abuse. And these children are at the point where they believe that they are not good enough, that they are evil, that they are bad, that they are wrong. They are not meant to be treated with kindness, love, and generosity. They are made out to believe that they are horrible people, and their mother did this to them. It just pisses me off, man. I'm getting mad thinking about it. Like, I'm like, I'm going to punch her in the face. These kids didn't ask for this. They didn't ask for this type of mother. They didn't ask for this. And then yet again, they're in this situation. And the things that she did to them, I don't know if you can undo that emotional trauma. They do remind us also that she has shown remorse within the amount of time that she's been in prison, which has been like 6 months. She has done a really good job of cooperating with the state by providing information about Hildebrandt. She has obviously gone against Hildebrandt. She has pled guilty. And she has basically done everything they've asked upon her. But that it does not mean that she still doesn't deserve the sentencing that she is getting. So even if some people have argued that her sentence should be less than Hildebrandt's because of her cooperation and the fact that, this was Hildebrandt's idea, and that basically she was just manipulated and deceived into believing these types of parenting styles and in this way of indoctrination. Literally, they don't care. And I agree. I mean, some people can't be convinced to do this type of shit to their kids. You still did the crime, whether somebody manipulated you into it or not. I'm going to put it like this. I don't know if we grow and change when we get off. It's hard to learn from your actions when you don't have to receive consequences for them. So with the state, this is what they end on. Even with her cooperation, a lesser sentence is just not warranted. They say her crimes and punishment and the Board of Pardons and Parole have broad latitude and have taken that all into consideration that she was cooperative. But the account to determine her sentencing, in conclusion, they would like her to receive 4 consecutive sentences. She agreed upon them in the plea agreement. That was the original agreement, and they think that she should go with that. Then we move on to Ruby Franke's lawyer. He believes that her initial indoctrination and beliefs have shifted. Initially, she believed that way. Ever since she was brought out of that situation with Hildebrandt, she has grown and she is slowly no longer believing the things that she initially believed before she got this sentence and was placed in imprisonment. That she really feels remorse, that she still has a long way to go, which I completely agree. I don't think you can change in 6 months. I think that if you believe this way and someone can manipulate you in believing this way, a part of you has always thought potentially how Hildebrandt thought. Because even before Hildebrandt, her parenting styles were very strict. They were aggressive. She's just not mentally right. And I think that prison is going to do her well and hopefully grow, and that she can get the help that she truly and honestly needs. And I hope her children get help too. He goes on to say that basically she needs to relearn her way of thinking moving forward, and that this sentencing will allow her to do so. That she is committed to working towards being a better person and a better parent. Her lawyer said that she is kind, respectful, and open to all feedback. Then we go on to Ruby Franke. Ruby Franke does decide to speak at her sentencing, which I'm happy that she does, because sometimes they don't speak, but I think it's good that we get to hear from her. And she starts off with, I'm not trying to sway anybody to change my sentencing. I am speaking on my behalf because I want to make a statement, because I need my family, my friends, and the state and the whole room to hear what I have to say. I didn't realize that this started 4 years ago. Ruby Franke seeked out counseling for her son, and Hildebrandt is whom she stumbled upon. She definitely says that she received no compensation for connections. She paid her in 2020. That's when she started paying her. So she seeked out counseling for her son in 2019, and then she started paying Hildebrandt in 2020. She fully admits that she just really believed in this indoctrination. She states that she was delusional. She states that she thought the world was evil, and you'd have to find a way to believe that to watch your children dump into cactus barefoot multiple times. And I am thankful during this statement that she is making that she admits a lot of fault, and that she admits that she had a dark, twisted way of thinking, which is so true. The problem, in my opinion, with what she said in her statement is that I thought it was a little over the top, thinking officers, judges, hospital staff, neighbors. I mean, she was doing the most. And that part of it just did not seem very genuine to me. And that is my personal opinion. She wanted you to believe that she is just fully made this huge change as an individual, and that she acknowledges everything that everyone has done to help her to grow and to take care of her family when she was in a dark headspace. What I will say is that I did believe she was truly sad, and I saw some remorse come from her. I mean, she does start crying when she starts talking about her children and her husband. She can't get the words out. She's crying so much. And that part seemed a lot more genuine to me, and it wasn't so robotic. She seemed like she's really sad that everything that she'd ever worked for her entire life was just crumbling in front of her, and that there's potential for her children and her husband, her ex-husband, to never forgive her. But I do like seeing people take accountability. It seemed like she was taking her full sentence with grace. So Ruby Franke was sentenced 4 to 30 years in prison. She did receive the maximum sentence of 30 years. She does have the option to appeal in 30 days from her sentencing, which was on February 20th of 2024. Her lawyer has stated that she will not be appealing her sentencing, that she is completely fine with what she received. She did receive the maximum sentence that she could receive upon her 4 counts of child abuse in the state of Utah. I hope that she doesn't appeal, honestly. I think she's got to stick by her word. I think everything that's happened to her makes her look bad, and I think that she does care what public opinion has to say about her. I think that she's embarrassed as well. So I think that she's going to take this one on the chin, and hopefully she grows as an individual and she's a better person when she comes out of this. That is actually the end of Ruby Franke. Unless she tries to appeal her sentence, I really have nothing to say about her. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, wherever you are. I hope that good things come to you and you have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay kind, stay beautiful. And just remember to be kind to one another. You are your own person. Try to find the light in the darkness. All right, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
My choice to believe and behave this paranoia culminated into criminal activity, for which I stand before you today ready to take accountability.